So we were discussing that the first step is to hear or read divine knowledge. The second step is to contemplate about what we have read. And then the third step. This third step is the biggest and the one of vital importance. This is called Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam means to decide with the intellect, this is it. In other words, to develop faith, conviction in that knowledge. The moment conviction comes, that knowledge becomes practical for us. The Vedas inform us, Astityevopalabdhasya tattva bhava prasidati astityevopalabdhavyas tattva bhavena chobhayo. The day you truly believe in the definition of God, that very day you will attain Him. The definition of God, we all know. He has created the world. He is our eternal Father. He is seated within us. He is all-knowing. He is the knower of the heart. He is all-powerful. These things, intuitively, we all know. But do we actually believe that? Jesus had said, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. That is how much difference faith means decision of the intellect. This is it. This world has actually been created in accordance with this divine wisdom. The knowledge that you get, believe it. I am not this body. I am the soul. My bliss is not in material objects. It is in the divine. The day we believe it, the Vedas say we will attain Him. A beautiful story from the Puranas to illustrate this. There was this king, very demoniac king called Hiranyakashipu. His son was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So his son would engage in worship of Vishnu, and the father was greatly inimical towards the Lord. So Hiranyakashipu tried in various ways to convert his son to his demoniac ways, but it all failed. So finally he told his servants that my son worships the Lord. Kill him. Take him away and kill him. Now Prahlad was a devotee of such an order that he used to actually see the Lord everywhere, in all things, perceive His divine presence. And the story illustrates the extent of his faith. These demons, they took away Prahlad. First of all, they attacked him with weapons. However, Prahlad was not the least bit ruffled. Seeing the demons approaching him with these weapons, Prahlad exclaimed, Vishnu shastreshu yushmasau maijasau vyavasthitaha daite astena satyena makramantva yudhani cha. My Supreme Lord Vishnu is in these demons like He is in me. He is in their weapons. These weapons can do nothing to me. How they kept on attacking him. Nothing happened to Prahlad because he was perceiving the Lord in them. Then after that the story goes, which every Indian has heard. This woman called Holika had the boon that fire could not burn her. So fire was lit. In order to kill Prahlad, she took Prahlad in her lap and sat down in the fire. Seated in the fire, Prahlad declares, Tatesha Vahni Pavane Ritopi Namam Dahavyatra Samantatoham Pashyami Padmas Taranas Tritani Shitani Sarvani Disham Mukhani. He says, my Lord Vishnu is in every molecule of this fire. It seems to me as if a sheet of lotus flowers has been draped onto me. And the result? Holika got burnt, Prahlad came out intact. Then these demons, the servants of Hiranyakashipu, they gathered some Pandits forcibly, made them do a fire sacrifice and created a being out of that fire sacrifice, that this being will kill Prahlad. That being went and killed all the Purohits, Pandits. Prahlad was moved to pity, seeing the dead Pandits. He said, Yatha sarveshu bhuteshu sarvavyapi jagadguruhu Vishnureva tatha sarve jivantvete purohita. If I have full faith that God resides everywhere, to prove my faith, may God make these Pandits alive. The Pandits came back to life. The demons took Prahlad back to Hiranyakashipu. We don't know what kind of son is this boy. We have been unsuccessful in killing him. They tried throwing him from mountain cliffs, putting him under elephant's feet, etc. So they said, we can't kill him. Now Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, where does this Vishnu whom you worship reside? Where is this God? So Prahlad answered, Sir Sarvatra. Father, he is everywhere. But he pointed in 4 directions. He is in you, as he is in me. He is also in this blade of grass, and he is in the stone pillar of your palace. Hiranyakashipu said, God is in the stone pillar? Katham stambhena drishyate. Why can't I see him? And in his anger and fury, he boxed the pillar. But to prove Prahlad's faith, God manifested from there in a personal form. So the 24 avatars, one of them is Nrisingh, who manifested from that pillar to prove that he is everywhere. You need to have faith and he will manifest. God says, I am in front of you. You believe, I will reveal myself. We say, we will get God so easily? That cannot be. God says, all right, you don't have faith, I am not in a hurry. I'll wait for you to have that faith. So this decision of the intellect is the biggest thing in the sequence of knowledge. In the sequence of knowledge we studied today, we start off with hearing, then we proceed to contemplating, and after contemplating, we make the decision. So that's Shravan, hearing, Manan, thinking about it, and Nididhyasan, deciding firmly with the intellect. Now what is it that we need to hear? What are these words of wisdom? We've only understood the process of knowledge, but what are these words of wisdom? We need to understand, I'm not going to take it today, we need to understand what is it that is causing lust, anger, greed, envy in our mind to arise. We need to understand why these problems arise. What is the solution to these problems? How can we fill our hearts with that causeless divine love that all the saints have talked about? So all these pieces of knowledge we will discuss as we go through this series in the subsequent programs. So today was the first day of this program. We are going to continue for 5 more days till Thursday. The topics are sequentially arranged. if you can come every day, the flow and the build-up of the topic will make it easier for you to understand. So, today I'm sure our organizers and the temple, they did not expect such a huge turnout. We are overjoyed to see all of you come here and participate with such enthusiasm. Tomorrow, if there were any shortcomings in the arrangements today, they will be taken care of, and we hope you will have an even better experience tomorrow. So I look forward to meeting you all through the week. Now, give the books. I have not yet become how I wish to become. I have not yet attained what I desire to attain. Our own feeling of discontent, our hunger from within is making us move on, keep on searching. What is it that we are searching for? We do not know perfectly, but the search continues. We are looking, the search is going on. We are hearing, the search is going on. Every human being in every country of the world is in the search. The Vedas inform us that what you are searching for is actually within you. Your Atmani Tishtati. You don't need to go somewhere to find Him. You need to take this inward journey. That God with whom you wish to be united is incessantly and eternally, perpetually and eternally with you. Both these words are important. He is eternally with us because He is situated in our hearts. Your Atmani Tishtati, the Vedas say, the kingdom of God is within you, the Bible says. So, the Vedas inform us that if we have got life, it is because the source of life is seated within, giving sentience to our soul. If He were to leave us for a moment, our soul itself would have become insentient. Hence, we are us because of His presence within us. He cannot leave us for a moment. And not only that, the Divine is present everywhere in this world. He is all-pervading. Sarvavyapi eko devaha sarvabhuteshu duraha sarvavyapi. He is everywhere. If that is a fact, that He is everywhere, then wherever we go, the presence of God exists. We can never get out of His presence, no matter where we go. So He is perpetually united with us, eternally united with us, and yet we are searching for Him. Is this not a paradox? Is it not contradictory? We are searching for God who is eternally and perpetually united with us. This is like somebody's got glasses on his or her nose and he says, I have not seen my glasses for 4 days. You find them, please give me. Return them to me. Or a lady has got her baby in her lap, and she says, has my baby gone running down this path? Or somebody is wearing a golden chain and he or she declares, I've lost my chain. If you happen to find it, please give it to me. They are searching for an object that is with them. Similarly, we are searching for God and we have still not found Him. What is the reason for this? The sage Vedavyas declares, Ajnana Mevasya hi Moola Karanam. The reason for this separation of consciousness is ignorance. We have ignorance within. Now that does not need to be proved. We have ignorance. We want to be happy, but we are not happy. We want to be peaceful, but we get agitated. Even in one subject we don't have perfect knowledge. Somebody keeps studying law all through life but still doesn't know all the laws of the country. So we've got this ignorance within. And Vedavyas says this is the problem. If some fortunate soul can dispel the darkness of that ignorance and come into the light of knowledge, all problems will be solved. Hence, knowledge is important. Just like you spend the first portion of your life acquiring material knowledge because you know it's necessary for the journey of life. On the spiritual path as well, knowledge is of vital importance. Siddhanta baliya chitte na karo alas. A great personality called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in acquiring divine wisdom, don't be careless. Understand all these wonderful concepts. When the theory becomes clear, the practical will become easy. My spiritual master Kripaluji Maharaj has written the chanting. The first line of that chant is Ek Kama Ki Baat Suno Man. Ek Kama Ki Baat Suno Man. He says, oh my mind, he's speaking to his mind. Hear something useful today. You have heard so many things. The Nasdaq has gone up and down, and so many people have been killed in such and such place, and a fire has broken out there, and a tornado hit this place. But you have never heard something really useful to yourself. If you had, you would have been liberated from this bondage of material consciousness. The fact that we are still in it indicates that we've not heard anything useful. But you may disagree, Swamiji, how can you say that? I have read so many books of wisdom, I have heard so many enlightened personalities, and they have all informed me of useful pieces of knowledge. You cannot say I have never heard anything useful till today. Of course you have. But the problem is, what we heard from one ear, we took it out from the other ear. We did not accept it. We did not implement it.
And without accepting and implementing, knowledge remains useless. We may know there is poison in this cup, and yet we insist that we will drink it. What is the use of knowing? We know that these are broken pieces of glass, and yet we value so much these broken pieces that we run after them, we chase them. What is the use of knowing? There was one police officer. He was sleeping at night with his wife. After midnight, the wife's sleep broke. She got up with a start and woke her husband. My dear husband, hear this noise that is coming. It seems as if some thieves are breaking our front door. The husband said, yes, I'm a police officer. I'm trained to understand noises. I know some thieves are trying to break our front door. After a few minutes, the wife said, my dear husband, it seems like they are jumping into our house. He said, I know it all. They are jumping into our house. It seems like they are breaking the cupboard in the drawing room. He said, they cannot fool me. I am totally aware. I know they are breaking the cupboard of our drawing room. My dear husband, now it seems like they are running away with our valuables. He said, you are absolutely right. I know it all. They are running away with our valuables. The wife said, know it all? What is the use of knowing it? You are a police officer. You have been trained in using that gun. You have a license for it. Go chase them, threaten them, get the items back. Mere knowledge will not solve the problem. Similarly, we may have read, we may have heard, but what we read and heard, we accepted only 1% of it into our life. Or we may have accepted 10%, somebody may have accepted 50%, somebody may have accepted 90% or 99%, but we did not accept 100%. And that is the condition of God for enlightenment. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. When that point of complete surrender is reached, which the Bible says, be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. When that point of complete surrender is reached, only then the divine grace will intervene, which will break this bondage of Maya and liberate us from it. And since we did not reach that level of surrender, we need to hear once again the same divine wisdom. And after that, we must hear it once again. And after that, we must hear it yet again. And then we must hear it again after that. And if somebody says, I've got bored, Swamiji, what is this? The same old principles of spirituality. Tell me something new and interesting. No. You will have to hear it. Is there some kind of compulsion? The compulsion is from your side. Until your soul gets the divine bliss of God, no matter what kind of happiness you give to it, you visit all the casinos of Las Vegas nearby, the soul will say, this is not my bliss. I am still not satisfied. Give me the bliss of God. Give me that infinite divine bliss. So our own hunger will force us to carry on. Hence, we will have to hear to reach the goal. Hence the Vedas say, Avritti Rasakritopadeshat. Repeatedly hear words of divine wisdom. You will benefit from them. Keep on hearing them. It will fill your intellect with these gems of knowledge. But then we need to move on. Hearing is only the first stage of knowledge. Hearing, as you are all doing, is the first stage. It is important, but it's only the beginning. Then we proceed to the second stage of knowledge. Hearing in Sanskrit is called Shravanam, and the next stage is called Mananam, which means contemplate upon what you have heard. Contemplation will make that knowledge sink deep. The knowledge must remain with you for it to be any use to you. If we know that anger is a bad thing, but when the occasion arises, we give vent to it, that knowledge slipped out, we made the mistake. One person came to me and said, Swamiji, everything is all right, but I'm not able to manage my anger. Do you have any piece of knowledge that could help me with this anger? I said, listen, anger harms you first and harms the other person, the object of your anger, later. When you harbor anger in yourself, you burn your blood, you poison your mind. Why would you like to harm yourself? If I gave you a pin and said, jab it into your arm, you would not like to do that. Nobody wants to harm themselves. So keep this knowledge that anger harms you. Hence, I don't wish to succumb to it. He said, Swamiji, that's a wonderful piece of knowledge. I said, but in its present state, it will be no use to you. Because when the occasion of anger arises, the knowledge will slip out. And you will indulge in anger and later on regret, oh, what did I do? He's 20 years elder to me and I shouted at him. What had happened to me? What had happened was that I should not get angry. This knowledge had slipped out. And the Vedas say, Tattva Vismarana Bhekivat. The moment a human being forgets discrimination, that human being becomes like an animal. Our humaneness is in keeping that knowledge with us. This is right, this is wrong. There's a beautiful story from Indian history that illustrates this point. There was a king called Raja Bhoj. This king has been about 700 years ago. He had great respect for scholars. India was divided into many, many kingdoms. So he was the king of one such kingdom. And he had great respect for scholars. So one great scholar in his kingdom, a great Pandit, as he grew old, he became poor. Now that poverty made him lose all his knowledge. He had need for money to solve his family problems. He said, what to do? I am in great distress of poverty. Let me dispel it by going and stealing. So where should I steal from? He decided, why not from the palace of King Bhoj himself? So in the day, people would walk in and out, he also entered the palace. At night time, all the courtiers started retiring. He went and hid behind some furniture. After a few moments, he was left alone in that courtroom of the king. He said, "Let me begin stealing." He located where the treasure was. He found all the gold coins. So he said, "All right then, let me steal this gold." He went forward to pick it up. But as he was lifting it, the knowledge came to his intellect. No, I remember reading in my youth, if you steal gold, it's a terrible sin. I will go to Kumbhipak Narak. The Garud Puran talks of varieties of kinds of hell. If somebody does some kind of sin, they go there. He says, "Oh, I can't do that." All right, in that case, let me steal the diamonds. He found the diamond chest. All right, let me steal this. He was about to pick it up when again the knowledge came to his intellect. I had also read in the Garud Puran, if you steal diamonds, you'll go to Raurav Narak, another kind of hellish existence. I can't do this as well. Now he kept moving the items forward and backwards. He had come to steal because that knowledge which he had gathered in his youth as a big scholar had slipped out of his mind. And in his indiscrimination, he had decided to resort to stealing to alleviate his suffering of poverty. But he could not steal anything. He said, I can't do this. Let me get out of the palace. Now when he desired to get out, guards were standing. There was no way to get out. So he said, all right. The king had strong guards. He said, let me spend the night in the palace, and in the daytime again, when the movement takes place of people going in and coming out, I will mingle in the crowd and disappear. So where can I hide safely for the night? He thought the safest place is the king's bedroom itself. Nobody will have the guts to search me out there. So he entered the king's bedroom and lay down under his bed. Now in the morning, King Bhoj was woken up with great pomp and ceremony. He was a king, so there was this whole ritual. Pandits would come and recite mantras. Musicians would play music. Elephants would come and blow their trumpet, and the king would wake up. This ceremony began, and the king slowly slid into awareness. All of a sudden, he was yawning, stretching himself, when the thought struck him that I am so fortunate to wake me up. These pandits are reciting mantras. These people are dancing. These musicians are playing on their instruments. I have got so many horses, so many elephants, so much treasure. So he started composing a verse in Sanskrit. Now Sanskrit is like, you ask somebody in Europe, do you know Latin? A few people know it, but not it. It's not the spoken language. So he started composing a verse in Sanskrit. Cheto hara yuvataya surido nukula sambandhava pranaya garbhagirascha bhritya valganti danti nivahas taralasturanga. He was counting his good fortune, remembering his horses, his elephants, etc. He composed 3 lines and got stuck. Now usually a verse should have 4 lines. He was stuck on the 3rd line. He could not think of what the 4th line should be. Panditji was lying below and hearing. What is my king talking about? So the king made a 2nd attempt. He started from the 1st line and got stuck on the 3rd line. So the third time when he tried and got stuck, Pandit Ji could not resist himself. He was a big scholar. For him to add a line was like child's play. So inadvertently it slipped out of his mouth. Sammilane nayanayor nahi kinchidasti. That is all very well, O king, but in your last moment when you close your eyes, all the horses, elephants, these dancers, these musicians, they will all remain here. Nothing is going to go with you. Now when that sound came, the king was startled. I thought I was alone in this room. Where did this voice come from? And such meaningful words. Nothing is going to go with me. Is it God speaking to me? Is it some kind of Akashvani message from the heavens? But then you would expect that to come from above. And this comes from below. Is it some Patalvani message from some hellish regions? He said, this is a dangerous situation. He called his guards, find out where did this sound come from. Poor Pandit Ji thought I spoke too soon and now I am finished. He is going to get me hanged. So before I am pulled out, let me reveal myself respectably. He peeked out. The king said, you? O king, I am a great scholar of your kingdom, a respected Pandit. But this poverty moved me to such an extent that I came to your palace to steal. And each time I endeavored to steal, the knowledge came in front of me. And I could not do it. That is why I came and hid under your bed. You see, forgetfulness of knowledge made the Pandit into a thief. Remembrance of that knowledge prevented him from thieving. What a difference it made. The king said, you are a very truthful man. But the words you added were most amazing. You have opened my eyes. Why should I rejoice in these temporary things? I am going to leave all this one day. This is not my eternal possessions. Why not strive for eternal treasures? You have, like my guru, you have helped me renounce from the world. So the king rewarded him greatly. But look what a difference knowledge makes. If we can keep the knowledge in our conscious awareness, in our intellect, it makes all the difference in our life. But to keep it in that awareness, we need practice. It doesn't happen naturally. Like children practice with knowledge. They have an examination, they keep on reading again and again until they have memorized it, because they wish to do well in the exam. So they apply themselves to the knowledge to make it a part of them. We should apply the same dedication to spiritual knowledge as well, but we are careless there. I heard it once. Swamiji, I heard you last year. You think so, but I don't think so. Because if I ask you what did I say, it's all slipped out. So, what you have heard, think about it. Contemplate over it. Revise it in your mind. You hear it here for 1 to 1.5 hours and revise it for the rest of the time. It's like the cows graze the grass and then they sit peacefully and draw it from their stomach and masticate it and put it into the second stomach and again pull it out and put it into the third stomach. They've got multiple stomachs. So they keep chewing. In the same way, keep chewing this knowledge. That is called mananam, contemplation or chintan.